episode 242. We have 123 days to go. So, yesterday we looked at Job. The last episode we looked at Job, and when Elihu got upset and began to address them. So if you watch last episode to the end, you will see that my little toddler interrupted the time and insisted on coming live and even breaking something here, But it was great to have him on. Sometimes we do need that kind of human interruption. All right, so we're looking at Job today. Job chapters 34 to 36. We'll be looking at 2 Corinthians chapters 4 verses 1 to 12, and then we'll be looking at Proverbs 22, 10 to 11. So this podcast is about doing the Bible in 1 year, where we look at the scriptures from Genesis to Revelation. And then I retell the stories. I leave the scriptures I will read in the description box below, and then I lace it with Nigerian humor if necessary. We use the structured guide from this study guide that enables us to look at an Old Testament, a New Testament, a Psalm, and a Proverb every given day. We've gone very far, and we are cruising steadily through Proverbs, but we're done with the book of Psalms. We're currently in the book of Job, and we'll soon be done with Job. All the while, Job has been lamenting, been fighting, been going back and forth, and established himself as a self-righteous dude, and his friends have established themselves as inconsiderate, selfish. I'm not going to say what I had in my mind. Okay. Anyway, a young man called Elihu starts to blast everybody, both Job and his friends, calling them old and him young, saying that perhaps they lack some wisdom and he needed to say something, and he's been looking for the courage to say so, and he's finally drawn up that courage. Okay, but before we look at Job, let's quickly look at Proverbs 22, 10 to 11, so that we could be done with that. Proverbs 22, 10 to 11 says, drive out the mocker and out goes strife. Quarrels and insults are ended. So thank you. I see you. Where are you watching from? He who loves a pure heart and whose speech is gracious will have the king for his friend. So that's it. Oh, to 12. All right. So then verse 12. The eyes of the Lord keep watch over knowledge, but he frustrates the words of the unfaithful. Sikana. Hi, I see you. Welcome. Tell me where you watching from. Hello, sister T.Y. Shaki. I see you. Thank you. That's a hello to you too. All right, so very quickly, because I know the last episode when my son interrupted, there was a bit of drama. We stayed longer than I would have loved to. I'll try to stay on point with this one. So you guys, leave me nice comments, okay? Leave me nice comments. All right, so Elihu is seen here continuing in his, well, I don't know whether to call it rage, but how do I call that now? Hi, Matsu. I told you guys not to distract me today, and you are trying to. Anyway, send me the love. I'm loving it. I'm loving you guys back too. Okay? All right. So today is day 242, and we have 123 days to go. So please sign up, subscribe to my channel, so that if you are interested in following through with the Bible and just reading it, laughing at the humor, getting angry at some of the things you don't like, and being shocked at some of the things you'll find out, there are lots of aha moments. You can subscribe to my channel and share it with those who you think would be interested. All right, so Elihu continues, and he says here, listen, wise men, let's discern among ourselves what is really right or good. Yeah. Job here insists that he is right before God and that God denies him justice. Job, I think he implied here that you guys say that Job hangs out with wicked men, and that is why Job is getting what is due him. These things can happen to him except he deserved it. Well, God doesn't do evil. So I summarize it. It's long, so go read it. I'm going to leave the scriptures in the description box, okay? I summarize it. So he says God doesn't do evil. He only repays. He only repays men what they deserve. And God can never perverse justice. It's even unthinkable to think that he would do that. And you know what? I kind of like agree with everybody. I agree with everybody. I agree with what Job's friend said. I agree with what Elihu is saying. Because I feel like even though I have also experienced where I felt I got like something, it was unfair, what did I do to deserve this and everything, I feel like there might be things that we're doing that we may not be aware that is attracting. See, the laws that govern things spiritually are a bit different from the laws that govern physical things, right? So you might not know when a law, you are flouting a law, you are breaking a law because it's harmless to you, but spiritually it's a big crime, that sort of thing. So I feel like God cannot, if you see anything, no matter how terrible that happens to a person, the person may or may not be aware of a law they were breaking. Would you please stop? Please stop. Thank you. All right. Be a good boy, okay? So they might not be aware of a law that they were breaking. Some sort of tragedy can happen, and you might not be aware that there's something you broke, a law that you flouted that you didn't think was a big deal. You may have done it consciously or unconsciously. I just feel like, nothing really happens by accident. Nothing is for nothing. Even if something that is terribly unfair happens to someone, like I'm gonna say this here now. I don't really talk about it out there, but I've been dealing with a chronic condition and an autoimmune. In fact, more than one autoimmune condition. So I've been dealing with 2 autoimmune conditions. And for the longest of time, I felt, why did this happen to me? Why would it just select me and just be happening to me? I thought it's so terrible. Sometimes I'm in hospital for so long, so I've had to have surgery. I've had a surgery where I had a cardiac arrest, and then I had to be resuscitated. Why is this happening to me? At the same time, when I begin to study into the causes of autoimmune, the real causes are not known, but they are believed to be caused by a lot of heavy emotional issues can trigger it. Maybe your body is already susceptible to it, so heavy emotional issues can trigger, and your body will just turn around and begin to attack itself, attack its organs, attack its blood and its vessels, and it just basically begins to attack you. So in reading those things, I realized that there may be something I'm unwittingly doing. Maybe I'm easily worried, I allow anxiety to control me, I don't get enough rest. So even though I'm not deserving of it, I am foolishly doing things that are attracting what can cause autoimmune. I don't know if I've made any point there. So let me know if you understand that, okay? Okay, so basically he was saying that God cannot pervert justice. It's completely unthinkable to think he would. Instead, he'll just withdraw his spirit and everyone will become dust. So God doesn't really pick on people like that. He's the ultimate judge and shows no partiality or favors no group. Doesn't favor the rich over the poor, does not favor the poor over the rich. Even the rich and high and mighty can die without a human involvement. And that is so true. That is so true. My husband's daddy was cooking in the kitchen. I had just barely spoken to my husband, barely an hour after speaking to my husband. And he collapsed in the kitchen. Before he could be rushed to the hospital, he passed on. No human hand. Hello, son. Oh! I think I should start thinking of myself as a YouTuber. I'm actually not a YouTuber yet, not yet. I just consider myself someone who just wants to share, because I'm reading the Bible 3 in 1 year. I don't want to do it alone. I want to do it with people. That's why I'm doing it online. So, son, please subscribe to my channel and encourage me. Thank you daily. It actually is a stream, and I'm doing this daily for the whole year. It's completely out of. Anyway, so that was it. So he let me quickly go back. He says he God sees us and everything that we do. He removes a man, he sets up another man instead. He punishes those who disregard his laws, who disregard him. He can condemn if he chooses. And if he chooses not to speak, no one can challenge him, If God chooses not to speak, no one can challenge him. Even if man repents, God does not have to forgive them on their own terms. That's what Elihu was saying to both Job and his friends. God does not have to forgive them on their own terms. I mean, should he? Does he have to? So he says, so you wise ones who insist that Job is being tested, draw some lessons from what I'm saying today. You who say God will clear you, Do you not sin? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't quite understand what I wrote here. Does I wrote, does you not sin? Does your sin or righteous, okay, yeah, I know what I wrote now. Does your sin, are you from the US? No, actually I'm not. Yes, son, life can be very tough. It can be. Are you from the US? No, I'm not. But I hope to be there soon. I hope to be there. When my cousin is getting married, I'll definitely be there. I'm from Nigeria. I'm from Nigeria in Africa. The biggest, populous, largest, economy in Africa. Yeah. So who says God will clear you? Does your sin or righteousness affect him? God pays no attention to arrogance and empty pleas. Job just speaks empty knowledge. That was the summary of the whole of chapter 35. It's several verses, but that was what I took away from it. So that was it. Chapter 36 says, wait a minute, there's more. So Elihu is now like on a roll. He's just blasting everybody. He blasts Job here, he blasts his friends here, he just blasts everybody. And he says, look, there's more. I'll ascribe justice to God. And I'm true. I'm saying this honestly. God doesn't despise men. His might and he's mighty in purpose. Like, he focuses on what he wants to do. Yes, he watches all the righteous and he tells sinners, he watches the righteous and he tells the sinners as they are bonded by affliction. He tells sinners as they are bonded by affliction what they have done, commanding repentance. Therefore, be careful not to be enticed by evil, for God is exalted, and no one can teach us like he can. He who understands how he thunders, on a serious note, who understands, So no one really understands how God thunders. So let's be careful how we assume we understand how God works. And that's where our book of Job ends today, chapters 34, 35, and 36. Now, 2 Corinthians 4, chapters 1 to 12 says, Paul is continuing his talk here. He's saying, we have this ministry of teaching you guys through God. So we don't lose heart, even though it's hard work. I think that's what he meant when he said, so we don't lose heart, because it can be very tough mentoring people and coaching people. And Paul here is like coaching these new converts. We renounced our old ways, we repented and renounced all the things we used to do, and we do not deceive or distort God's word again. We openly commended ourselves to man's conscience in front of God. And the God of this age, even though we are doing that, has blinded the people who do not believe. And there are a lot of believers in his day. There are still a lot of believers to today. A lot of people who do not believe. Even people who used to believe, or at least thought they believed, now don't believe. A lot. So the God of this age has blinded unbelievers so they can't see the gospel of Jesus. We preach Jesus not for our sakes. For God made his light to shine out of the darkness, into our hearts, to give us knowledge. This treasure has remained in earthen jars of clay. And I know a musical group way back when I became a young, I wasn't even a Christian then, but I used to hear my Christian friends talk about jars of clay. Jars of clay, our earthen body is made of clay, this body is clay, ultimately, that sort of thing. So it says, this treasure, this beautiful knowledge that God has given us in our earthen vessels, in our jars of clay, is from God, not from us. So this is Paul talking to the new convert, saying it's from God, not from us. That's Paul, not from Paul. We may be pressed, struck, and persecuted, but we are not abandoned, destroyed, or dismayed. We carry death in our bodies so that we can carry life of Jesus in our bodies as well, so that Jesus's life may show in our bodies. So if we die to sin, we live to life. Jesus's life shows in our bodies. So as death is at work in us, that's Paul. So Paul is saying, as death is at work in him, Paul, life is at work in you. The rest of us who are listening to Paul, who are reading from Paul, who were listening to him and who are reading his words today. As Paul was giving away his life and carried the death of Jesus like on his head, the rest of us were getting life from it. Until today, we're still getting life from it. 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 Yes. So today is an easy one, not a long one, not a tough one, just simple. And thank you all for watching. Please make sure you subscribe. Hello, Garth Abbott. Good to see you. It's been a while. Have you been here before? I think so. I think you have. So basically, what I'm getting from this is, I think one of the philosophies I want to adopt is God cannot pervert justice. If you see anything going on that seems like an injustice, we don't have the full picture. That's basically what it means. We don't have the full picture. And so before we come up judging God, let's be very careful, because God can do no wrong. God does not play favorites, and he favors no group, rich and poor. In fact, I honestly think it doesn't make people rich. Neither does it make people poor. There's something in their knowledge or lack of it that robs them of either being rich or makes them poor. That's what I'm taking away from here. So I will try not to distort God's words again. Okay, so that brings us to an end of today's reading. I hope to see you all in the next episode. Thank you everyone for joining me today. Please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for the likes, and I love it. Yes, God. Abbott, yes, God. Amen. Yes. So thank you for joining me today. Please subscribe to my channel if you want to know more about the Bible. We're just reading through. Job is too serious, so I can't really be funny here. But in some other episodes, I hope to lace it with more Nigerian humor, and hopefully you get away learning something, some life lessons, some life hacks, some wisdom, or some things you want to discard that you're currently doing. Yeah. All right. So people of God, I'll be seeing you. This has been episode 242. I'll be seeing you in the next episode. God bless you, and see you soon.